Welcome back to the Winning Edge Talks podcast. I am Vishwanath, your host. I'm a sports psychology coach and mind trainer. I'm also a sports mental performance analyst. The topic of this episode is athletes go live to stay connected. I'm sure you're both happy and disappointed with India's showing in the recently concluded Tokyo Summer Olympics. Happy because India had its best ever medal tally of 7, winning the first track and field athletic gold in the process. Disappointed maybe because India fell short of the expected target of at least 10 medals. In Victims of Olympics Pressure, which was my previous episode, I spoke on how Indian athletes lost out on at least 5 medals due to pressure of Olympics. I'm sure you expected medals in archery and shooting, but you didn't get any. In wrestling too, India was looking for more but got only 2. You may recall that India had a world number 1 wrestler in Vinesh Phogat. The sure shot chance was in shooting, where there were many world number 1s and world number 2s in the squad. But they didn't get any. In archery, there was Deepika Kumari. Tokyo Olympics was her 3rd, and she had herself admitted before Tokyo that she had learned from the mistakes of the past, and this time around she was sure to return home with a medal. That was not to be. This Tokyo Olympics saw a few Indian athletes embroiled in controversies. Manika Batra insisted that she would receive match play instructions from her personal coach Sanmai Paranjpe, who was also at Tokyo at that time. She refused to allow the official TT coach Samyadeep Roy to sit for her match. Manika's coach Sanmai was not allowed by the authorities beyond a certain point. Manika couldn't get close access to Mr. Sanmai during her match. Now, let's discuss the case of Vinesh Phogat, who was the world number 1 wrestler and top seed at Tokyo Olympics. Vinesh Phogat had initially insisted for a physiotherapist exclusively for female wrestlers to travel with the team. She had asked for an official accreditation for Purnima Namdar, her personal physiotherapist, to travel with her to the Olympics. This request was turned down. All that the female wrestlers got were the services of 2 physios from the archery and shooting contingent and a physio from the tennis team. But Vinesh had problems with these physios as well, as she thought that they didn't understand the requirements of a female wrestler. Given the specific demands of wrestling, she did not feel like these physios understood her body. She found it better to focus on herself rather than explaining how things work in wrestling. Back in 2019, when Vinesh changed her weight category, she shared that she had depression. I was in Spain. I felt something was wrong. I never slept. For days I would be awake. She said it worsened when she came back to Lucknow, so much that even if a coach would speak to her in a slightly higher tone, she would start crying. When she was injured during the Asian Championships, she realized she could not go on like this and decided to speak to a psychologist. I needed emotional support, so I needed to speak up. Everyone in the family helped me, but I can't express everything. What is going on inside my head? I told my psychologist that I'm a very emotional person and can cross the thin line. Do you think doing meditation and talking to a psychologist is enough? Nothing is enough. Only we know, she has said. What happened to Vinesh Phogat on the bout day? Vinay said, speaking to the media, that she was alright and had prepared for the Tokyo humidity. She had salt capsules and electrolytes, but something was not right. She said maybe it was the concussion she had earlier, the blood pressure or the weight cut. Salt capsules had always helped her, but not this time around. Vinay said she was not up to it on the day of the bout and was anxious. She woke up with a feeling of vomiting and was in pain. There was nothing in my body. Ultimately, I did vomit. On the bus ride to the stadium, I called Purnima, my physio, asking her desperately what I could do. After my first bout, I took a salt capsule. Nothing improved. So I took one more. No change. I could not eat anything because I was nauseous and felt like vomiting. I did some deep breathing exercises, but no effect. I was not feeling in control. I was shivering. In the second bout, I knew I was losing. I was giving up points from positions I would never have. I can see that everything is going away, but I can't do it. My mind was blocked to that level that I didn't know how to complete a takedown. I was surprised that I was blanked out. I will never accept that I was under stress or mentally disturbed. I am a sports psychology coach and can say with conviction that blanking out can happen with excessive thinking, anxiety, and pressure. This may be or may not be true in her case. We will never know unless she comes out with it. But she admits that she was not under stress or mentally disturbed. Wrestlers Anshu Malik, Sonam Malik, silver medalist Ravi Dahiya and bronze medalist Bajrang Punia and Vinesh Phogat during a recent program spoke of the need for a sports psychologist to be attached to the wrestling team so that the wrestlers are able to overcome the nerves at a big stage like the Olympics. There is a need for someone to interact with us on such occasions like a sports psychologist. That will be better for us and we can enter our bouts with a clear head. Anshu Malik said, there are a lot of facilities now compared to the past, but sometimes you get nervous. Olympics is a big stage, you know. If someone can interact with us like a psychologist, that will be better. Vinesh Phogat said, you need to stay away from negative thoughts. You have to surround yourself with positive people. Self-belief is paramount. Shooters have their own sports psychologists. Wrestlers like Vinesh Phogat also had consultations in the past. The husband-wife pair of Deepika Kumari and Atanu Das have been seeing their psychologist since 2017. So a lot is expected from them. But many athletes who took part in Tokyo Olympics returned home empty-handed, especially the archers and the shooters. They have expressed clearly that the presence of sports psychologists at the Olympics venue would have gone a long way in helping them get medals. The fact that medal-starved Indian athletes try harder than ever to win an Olympic medal brings about desperation in them. And desperation brings up stress and debilitates performance. Deepika Kumari, the archer, admitted she looks at Olympics differently than the other international competitions she takes part in. And here she tries even harder. Even Manu Bakar, the shooter, has expressed about this in a TV interview. When you look, hear or read about how athletes in India are deprived of their needs, you feel for them and empathize with them, and you are left to wish that what if all the ifs and buts could have their way India would surely be winning more medals for the country. But it doesn't work out that way in a marquee competition like the Olympics. The authorities are constrained by many policy decisions. They have to look into many factors before deciding the size and composition of the contingent that will leave the shores to the Olympics. Most often, they can't accommodate the personal coaching staff and the support team of the athletes. Especially during the Tokyo Olympics, due to the severe stress of COVID, protocols were in place and restrictions were imposed on the strength of a contingent with their accompanying support staff. I have interviewed a few Olympians for my book, Success Mantra in Sports, a book on the mental aspects of sports. These Olympians expressed that they were not given permission for their personal coach to accompany them to the Olympics, even after they were willing to pay for them. Government decisions and policies can never be challenged. So, what is the way out when athletes need to consult their personal coaches, physiotherapists, sports psychologists, dietitians, etc.? Yes, we shall discuss that. There is a solution to all this. The solution is the use of virtual digital technology to talk to trusted people, friends and family members. This modern technology comes handy in the form of your own cell phone. You can go live instantly on your mobile phone and connect with your near and dear ones, your coach or your support staff who are away in your country. You can use Go Live applications available in Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Google Duo, WhatsApp video call, Messenger video call, etc. There may be many more Go Live platforms than those I have mentioned. Samsung, the global technology experts, are the Olympic partners and are a part of the Olympic movement since 1997. They are helping athletes stay connected with their near and dear ones. Samsung have shown their presence at the Olympics since 2000 Sydney Games. Samsung are again the Olympics partner for this edition of Tokyo Olympics 2020. As the athletes made their way to the Olympics village, the International Olympic Committee, in collaboration with Samsung, gave away a new Samsung Galaxy S21 5G mobile device to every athlete competing at the Tokyo Games 2020. I am sure many athletes use them at Tokyo. In many cases, the athletes are in need to see the experts like psychologists, physiotherapists, and coaches on the night before the event or in the morning to express the fears, doubts, and other issues. But they may not be able to meet these experts physically because these confidants may be at a different place. This is when Go Live technology comes in handy to connect to them. This applies not only to Olympics, but it can be used right through the year. I spoke to two former Olympians who said during their time they could only contact the important people who matter to them over telephone. They agreed that now with the advancement of technology, it is possible for the athletes to connect using cell phone by going live. They added that it helps because it's nice to see the person you are talking at the other end. You can feel as though they are with you physically. I spoke to two Olympians who participated in the Tokyo Summer Olympics that just concluded. They informed me that they were allowed to use mobile phone and they did use it to good effect. Dear athletes, don't fret that authorities didn't permit your support staff to travel with you. Connect with them by going live from your cell phone. This is Vishwanath signing off for Winning Edge Talks podcast.